Good morning. We now call this council meeting to order. If you have a cell phone at this time, be so kind to put it on silent, mute, or off. It would be greatly appreciated. This morning we'll be led in prayer by Madam Clerk, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk.
O God of might, wisdom, and justice, through whom authority is rightly administered, laws enacted and judgment decreed, assist us, we beseech thee, that this city council may be conducted in righteousness and be eminently useful to thy people over whom we reside. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams. Here. Morgan.
Present.
Roots.
Present.
Mayor Kirkland.
Present. Move for the approval of minutes.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams.
Yes.
Morgan.
Yes.
Roots.
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes. We now open up the microphone for public comments on agenda items only. If you have public comments, we ask that you would state your name, your address, and your public comment on agenda items only.
Hi, good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
Anita Littleton, 330 West 9th Street, Chester, PA, referring to resolution number 4. Just want to get a clarification. So there has not been a committee already established. The approval is to create an oversight committee for the ARPA funds. Is that what can you bring a clarification on that?
This resolution was for the creation of the American Rescue Plan Oversight Committee, and we interviewed some candidates, and we're going to consider, American Council going to be considering approving those candidates to be on that committee.
Okay, so the word creation, is that a mistake? So I'm thinking that's how I wanted to clear. So this committee has already been created and established, and if so, what did that process entail? Who was involved in that, and are we privy to find out who is on that committee?
So the process, we put this out to the public to have the community apply, say that they had interest on being a part of the committee. We interviewed the candidates that we had with the selection committee, including myself and 3 other individuals, 3 or 4 other individuals. They provided their resumes, and of course they went through the review process. So this resolution that we're considering is created, but also to, if I can correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Solicitor, but also to appoint those members on the committee that we are recommending to the council.
That is correct.
Okay, so again, for the clarification of myself and the residents of Chester City, this oversight committee has already been approved. So when I look at the word creation, no. So
that's what the resolution is for today. It hasn't been approved yet.
okay, so you guys have already started the process of selecting people.
Yes.
Okay, so authorized for the creation of the ARPA oversight committee.
Yes.
Okay, so that process.
For the moment.
Okay, so what does this actually mean then when you're authorizing? What's entailed in this number 4? What happens in this process?
This is the creation of the oversight committee.
Right, what's the details? What does that entail? What does that mean? If you can explain that like in layman terms for the residents and myself here.
What's what mean?
Like what does this mean to approve the creation of ARPA oversight? What's entailed in that process? So when you guys are approving something, I mean, it's something that's getting ready to start. What is the whole process of number 4? That's what I'm trying to get a clarification on. I'm confused.
I thought maybe I was wrong, but I thought I explained the process that we took to get to this stage to look to approve and appoint the committee members. Through that interview process, through the committee members, gathering their resumes, providing it to mayor and council for their consideration as well. They're telling me people can't hear me. To we went through that entire process with the interview process. So I'm sorry, I'm not answering your question.
Or maybe I'm confused. It could be me, Councilman Morgan. So I guess what I'm trying to find out, when you say approval for the creation of a ARPA oversight committee. So maybe that can tell that has already started, but I would look at it as this is a starting process of how that's going to happen, that there hasn't been a committee, and this is to approve that process to start doing what you have already indicated has already been done. So am I kind of missing something?
Yeah,
I could be confused.
There has not been a committee, and we're trying to create a committee. This is what the resolution is stating. And then appoint individuals to be on that committee from the community.
Okay, so just for my clarification, so it looks like you guys have kind of started the process, and so basically what you're going to be approving today is those that have already applied for this, gave their resumes, they will be on this oversight committee. Is that what you guys are? Is that a further step down the line?
Yes, that's the next step that we're looking to do today.
Okay.
Then after that, we'll create more of the procedures that the committee will and the guidelines that they'll go by, and how we'll handle it on a day to day or month to month type of doings. How the committee will meet, how the committee will provide recommendations, how the committee will be able to voice some of those things that we're doing and the projects, initiatives that we're implementing or trying to implement within the ARPA funds out to the community as well.
Okay, so just for clarity, again, I guess it's the word creation that's confusing me. So there has not been an authorized oversight committee yet. That's still in process. Okay, and you mentioned that you guys reach out to the community and how to get involved with that. Can you explain that process and what would be the procedure and processes for moving forward for community residents that want to stay, involved in this committee oversight process? What is that coming through your social media, or how did you guys notify the residents about that?
So we notified everybody when we talked about this meeting maybe in July of 2022. And then at another American Rescue Plan meeting that we had in October of 2022, we also spoke about the committee that we were going to try to put together, and that we will be sending out notifications to the public via social media, our websites, and that's what we did. And again, we've had, I want to say we probably only had 6 people apply. And I believe one or two may have dropped out. But whatever we received, we most certainly had responded to. They provided all of the information or requirements that we requested in order to be on the committee or be in consideration for the committee. And that was the process that we went through.
Okay, so just my last question. If you could just give clearly the methods. You said social media. Was that Facebook, Twitter, TikTok? Which methods did it go out? Can you just line those out clearly?
So I'm not our press secretary, so I don't handle really that as far as pushing all of the information out to the public, whether it's our newsletter.
So it went out through. I'm just
website,
newsletter was one way.
Many of things. I can't pinpoint all of them.
Does anybody on the council know how this information went out to the public, so we can just make sure that you said newsletter? I'm just trying to find out when and how this information was relayed to the public.
Miss Amanda, please.
And that's all on that part. Thank you very much.
We used the website because we had to post it on the website because it has to go out to everybody to have access to, since everybody does not have access to Facebook. So between the website and the newsletter, those were the ways we reached out to make sure everybody had access to it. Okay? Well, at the people that came to the ARPA meetings, he announced it about the committee every time at the ARPA meetings because those were the people that were here. So we assumed those would be the people that would be coming to be a part of that committee. So mainly he voiced it at the ARPA meetings. Oh yeah, you'll definitely be knowing who's on that committee.
Yes, they'll come out soon.
On the website and in the newsletter, they're going to be our main sources because, with our seniors not having access to Facebook. That's really where we're going to focus to make sure everybody has a place to go to, corporately. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Lynn. Any other public comments on agenda items only? Hearing or seeing none. Madam Clerk.
Resolution. Whereas the following individual has requested a handicap parking zone. Number 1, Angela Lewis Cone, 218 Highland Avenue, Chester, PA, 19013. Whereas, after a thorough investigation by the Department of Streets and Public Improvements, it has been determined that the aforementioned individual has met all of the required criteria and has a need for said handicap parking zone. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the proper city officials to install a handicap parking zone in the 200 block of Highland Avenue in the City of Chester.
So move.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Resolution. The Council of the City...
ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Getting ahead of myself. Councilors Williams.
Yeah.
Morgan.
Yes.
Roots.
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby promote the following individuals to the rank of acting captain. Chester Police Department, Department of Public Affairs, effective February 13th, 2023, with a 90-day probationary period at the salary range as provided in the annual appropriation ordinance. Number 1, William Carey, and number 2, Joshua DeWeese.
So move.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the City of Chester hired Karen Bivens for the full-time payroll specialist department, accounts, finance, and human resources, effective February 21st, 2023, for 37.5 hours per week, with no benefits and a 60-day probationary period. And whereas said employment is contingent upon said individual successfully completing 60 days probation from the date of hire. Whereas the city is required by law to offer said employee medical benefits after 60 consecutive days of employment, which is completed on April 31st, 2023. And now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve. Further, if said employee fails to meet the job expectations within the 60 days probation, said employee will no longer be eligible for the position and will be subject to termination from said position.
So move.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas President Biden signed the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, into law in March 2021, designating $350 billion nationwide to support immediate pandemic response, address economic fallout, and lay the foundation for a strong and equitable recovery. And whereas, in an effort to provide transparency concerning the projects and expenditures under the authority of Article 6, Section 604 of the Home Rule Charter, Council wishes to establish an ARPA Oversight Committee. And whereas the purpose of the ARPA Oversight Committee is to provide transparency for the city's ARPA-funded projects as it relates to the community and ensure the portion of the ARPA budget designated for the community is in line with the community's priorities. Now, therefore, the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby appoint the following 4 community volunteers, including 1 alternate, to the ARPA Oversight Committee to serve a 1-year term. Annette Pyatt, Thomas Nixon, Adora Purnell, Trina Smith, alternate. Further, the ARPA Oversight Committee is a recommending body and not an approval body that would meet with such frequency as it may determine. Even further, the ARPA Oversight Committee will report its activities at community meetings where applicable to City Council in a public meeting, and shall report no less than quarterly to the community at a community meeting.
Mayor and Council and Madam Clerk, I would like to make a change to this resolution. We spoke about at deliberative and then our ARPA meetings. The individuals that are presenting here, Ms. Trina Smith, we had originally as an alternate. The ARPA committee, we decided to transition or switch Ms. Trina Smith to a permanent committee member and have Ms. Annette Pyatt as the alternate. So I would like to make the motion on this resolution with those changes.
Are there any questions? Go ahead.
I just want to make sure that everybody has. So if you go to the website, you can either go to resources in ARPA to get to the ARPA page, or you can type ARPA in the ARPA. Let me take them ARPA in the search field, and in the bottom right, you'll see the application and the information for the committee. So at least you'll be able to see what information was listed. Okay, and
Thank
any updates, that's where to be as well. Okay.
Thank you. Any other further questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes, with the corrected changes.
Resolution. This resolution, approved and adopted by the Council of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, on the date hereinafter set forth. Whereas Section 7503 of the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Services Code, 35 PA-CS Section 7101, mandates that the City of Chester prepare, maintain, and keep current an emergency operations plan, EOP, for the prevention and minimization of injury and damage caused by a major emergency or disaster within this city. And whereas, in response to the mandate stated above, this city has prepared an emergency operations plan, EOP, to provide prompt and effective emergency response procedures to be followed in the event of a major emergency or disaster. And whereas this city has also prepared an emergency operations plan, EOP, in order to reduce the potential effects of a major emergency or disaster. And now, therefore, we, the undersigned Council of the City of Chester, do hereby approve, adopt, and place into immediate effect the Emergency Operations Plan of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania. This plan shall be reviewed every year to make certain that it conforms with the requirements of the Delaware County Emergency Operations Guideline. Further, the City of Chester does hereby authorize Mayor Thaddeus Kirkland, Deputy Mayor William Morgan, Emergency Management Coordinator William Rigby, and City Clerk Candace Newsom to execute for and on behalf of the City of Chester all required forms and documents of the Emergency Operations Plan.
So move.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams, Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the City of Chester is in partnership with the Chester Economic Development Authority, CEDA, and the Riverfront Alliance of Delaware County, RADC, for the reconstruction of Rainey Street from Seaport Drive to Route 291 in accordance with the Chester Waterfront Master Plan for the Rainey Street Reconstruction Project. And whereas the goal of the project is to improve connectivity, community access, and public safety along the 100 blocks of the connector street that links Chester's residential neighborhoods to the Delaware riverfront. And whereas the project improvements will include the installation of ADA complaint curbs, sidewalks and lighting, reduced cartway width, and increased sidewalk size to accommodate pedestrians, and a buffer separation between sidewalks and vehicular traffic. And whereas CETA has provided $145,400 towards payment certificate number 3 of the project. Now therefore the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby authorize the Department of Accounts and Finance to reimburse CETA $145,400 for the payment of a portion of payment certificate number 3 for the initial improvements to Route 291 and Rainey Street for the Rainey Street reconstruction project. Further, the sum of $145,400 is hereby appropriated from the city's American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funds, under ARPA Project 29 Rainey Street.
So move.
Are there any questions?
No questions. I got a statement, a comment. Over a few council meetings, we've always talked about how we're going to improve the right-of-way as far as vehicles traveling on 291 and trying to get pedestrians to safely get to the waterfront, Chester waterfront. So this is another, I guess, check mark of us trying to find other ways to safely get our residents down to the waterfront as we try to improve our waterfront. Additionally, in the month of January, the City of Chester was approved for an ARLI grant from the state, which is going to allow the City of Chester to install a traffic light, a traffic signal on Route 291 coming off of the off-ramp of the bridge. So there are some improvements, traffic improvements going on 291. So I want to just thank Mayor and Council for all the work that you have done, and Lisa Gaffney, Mike Galante, and all those individuals who helped us get the ARLI grant. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Any further questions or comments? Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. Whereas the City of Chester has designated Santander Bank, N.A., the bank, as its depository of funds, and the bank requires a resolution approved by the Council of the City of Chester to make changes to position titles and personnel authorized to sign on city accounts. And whereas Chester City Council has elected to change the authorized signers that act on behalf of the City of Chester in accordance with the terms and conditions as detailed in the bank's universal resolution. Now therefore the Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does hereby designate the following individuals as authorized signers: Leonard Leitner, Chief Operating Officer, COO; Arlene R. Gathers, Deputy Chief Financial Officer, CFO; Michael Hurst, Accountant; Eleanor F. Golson, Treasurer. Further, that it does authorize the proper city official to provide this resolution, the signed universal resolution and bank signature card, to the bank for and on behalf of the City of Chester. Further, this resolution supersedes any other resolution addressing the subject matter discussed herein.
So move.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Resolution. The Council of the City of Chester does resolve that it does approve and order payment of a series of bills and refunds as prepared by the Department of Accounts and Finance and is shown on expenditure approval list dated January 16th, 2023 through January 27th, 2023, attached hereto and made a part hereof, subject to approval from the Department of Accounts and Finance.
So move.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
No.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
Bill number 1, an ordinance. The first reading was on January 25th, 2023. An ordinance of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, repealing Title V, Property Tax Abatement, Article 361, entitled Residential, in its entirety, and adopting a new Article 361 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Chester, Pennsylvania, 1978, as supplemented and amended. Said article shall be entitled Improvement of Deteriorating Real Property or Areas Tax Exemption Act, IDRPA, authorizing tax exemptions from property tax for certain deteriorated residential property, defining eligible deteriorated residential areas, setting a maximum exemption amount and an exemption schedule, and providing a procedure for securing an exemption and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith.
I move that we pass bill number 1 on its last and final reading.
Second.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes.
An ordinance, bill number 2. It was passed, its first reading was January 25th, 2023. An ordinance of the City of Chester, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, repealing in its entirety Article 363, entitled Industrial and Commercial of Title 5, Property Tax Abatement, and adopting a new Article 363 of the Codified Ordinances of the City of Chester, Pennsylvania, 1978, as supplemented and amended. Said article shall be entitled Local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Law, LERTA, authorizing tax exemptions from property tax for certain deteriorated industrial, commercial, or other business property, defining eligible deteriorated areas, setting a maximum exemption amount and an exemption schedule, and providing a procedure for securing an exemption and repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances inconsistent therewith.
I move that we pass bill number 2 on its last and final reading.
Are there any questions? Madam Clerk?
Councilors Williams,
Yes.
Morgan,
Yes.
Roots,
Yes.
Mayor Kirkland.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Before we go into the presentation portion of this council meeting, just wanted to remind folks, if you would like to address council, please sign your name and your address at the podium. If you would like to make some comments or questions, have some questions. Thank you. We're going to, Ms. King or Ms. Carter?
Good morning.
Good morning.
The Pennsylvania Department of Health has reported 42 positive COVID cases in Chester since the last council meeting on January 25th. Research experts believe that the number of positive cases is undercounted given the common use of at-home tests. The CDC states that people in Delaware County may choose to mask at any time due to the medium level of COVID transmission. You can also go to vaccines.gov for the most up-to-date appointment availability for vaccines and boosters. February is American Heart Month, and we wanted to remind everyone that the heart is one of our greatest gifts. We encourage everyone to consider getting the vaccine and booster if you haven't already. The health department is partnering with the Black Equity Coalition and Woodland Pharmacy to sponsor a vaccine booster and flu shot clinic today from 11 to 1 at the Access Community Center on 701 Booth Street in Chester. We will also have another vaccine booster and flu shot clinic on Monday, February 13th from 11 to 1 in the computer room at Chester City Hall. On February 21st at 9 a.m., the fire department will provide CPR training for City Hall employees. If any city employees would like to take advantage of this training, you can call the health department. Lastly, the city will host their first annual Women's Health Conference on March 11th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Widener University's Latham Hall. The keynote speaker will be renowned radio personality Patty Jackson. If anyone is interested, we have flyers for the event on the podium that include the registration link. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King. Lish? Reed?
Good morning.
Morning.
Sergeant William Carey, front and center.
Should have said and company.
To all who shall see these presents, greetings. Known to the reposing special trust and confidence and abilities of Sergeant William Carey, I do appoint this sergeant to the rank of captain. I do hereby order all those of a lesser grade to comply with all orders given by Captain Carey and charge Captain Carey with authority to carry out the orders as given by those of higher grade. Given under my hand this 8th day of February, the year of our Lord, 2023. Congratulations.
Gotta draw some blood.
Sergeant Joshua Deweese, front and center. To all who shall see these presents, greetings, knowing the reposing special trust and confidence in the abilities of Sergeant Joshua Deweese. I do appoint this sergeant to the rank of captain. I do hereby order all those of a lesser grade to comply with all orders given by Captain Deweese and charge Captain Deweese with authority to carry out the orders as given by those of higher grade. Given under my hand this 8th day of February and the year of our Lord, 2023. Congratulations. Oh. You're up. Rest of your system. Here you go. Pass it down.
I didn't write a speech, but good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I want to thank Mayor, Council, Police Commissioner. I didn't write a speech, but began my life here in Chester, my education here in Chester, my working life here in Chester, and I'm looking forward to my next chapter here in Chester. Thank you.
Captain Carey, you up?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, City Council, Mr. Solicitor, Commissioner, Major Blackwell, all the members of the Chester Police Department, Colleen, Ava, William, and the community. 5 years ago, Mr. Mayor, you promoted Josh and I to sergeant. Since then, you had a vision with the commissioner, and through his guidance, we implemented. I think the numbers don't lie. Part 1 crimes are down. We've built stronger, safer partnerships with the community. and I look forward to continuing doing that. Thank you.
Alan? So, if some of you don't know, this is Captain Alan Davis. This is the father of Josh. I guess some of you might not know this if you're not from the city, but I can tell you this: certain things happen in your police career that stick with you through the remainder of your life. And on Saturday, March 12th, 2016, I'm sure a lot of my officers here can attest to this. This is when Captain Davis was shot in the line of duty. With him being shot in the line of duty, he became permanently disabled. But more importantly, kind of like my testament, my father was a police officer, and for what you've done for this city and what you've given, and to have your son follow in your footsteps is like no other. And I want to make sure I give you your flowers today. Want to say anything? All right.
I'll be here all day.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cap, and thank you for loaning us your son as well, and your dad and your family members. Thank you, thank you. We know they'll do well, serving the citizens of Chester, as you did. Yeah. Okay. Now open up the microphones for public comment. Ms. Littleton. And
Hello again. Anita Littleton, 330 West 9th Street, Chester, PA.
one moment, Ms. Littleton.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Ms. Littleton.
Okay. Yes. Good morning again. I just want to piggyback on the comment I had first because you guys had passed this. I just want to make sure that, you know, I think it's important that we understand, like words matter to me. So it appears, and I just want to make sure that I'm understanding again. I could be missing something, but you guys on number 4, okay, and Councilman Morgan, I heard everything that you said, and that's why I was asking for a clear, clear understanding, because it's important what we hear as residents of what's going on and what comes across these chamber councils. When I hear the word creation, okay, I guess that needs some education today. When I hear the word creation, to me, that is a process of getting ready to start something and put something in place. It hasn't taken place already. But what it sounded like today is that you guys approved an already designated committee that has been appointed. And so I'm confused. Was that word creation a misprint, or was that something that was put out there to confuse us? Should that be corrected for the record? Because, and this is why I'm asking that, because I want to get to my other important questions, but there should be a clarity. Residents have to understand this, because I was a part of several of those ARPA meetings. And so the people that you guys mentioned, I would like to know, are they Chester residents? Are they just citizens? Or are they employees of the city or any entity in the city? And what was the community's input in selecting this committee that you guys have approved and appointed? Because it was told to us that we would have a part in that process of who's going to be on that committee. That's the last thing I heard, and that's why I asked where was this going to be. So for the record, my understanding from what you said is that this was still in process, but for the record, you guys actually approved an appointment of a committee that has already been established. Is that correct for the record?
The committee was created. It was created by way of resumes that were sent in to council persons and those other persons who were on that committee. After the selection of those individuals, those 4 individuals, and my understanding was only 6 persons that may have applied. Those 4 individuals were the individuals that were chosen out of that number, and the committee was created. It was placed out in the public so that folks could actually hear and see what the process was. And so today, even though it was created, it was approved today by myself and members of council.
Okay. So thank you for that clarity, Mayor Kirkland. So for the record, are we going to correct this for the public, because Councilman Morgan himself said that it was not? He clearly indicated that creation was still in process. And again, I would like to know, and hopefully probably more of the public, who approved these people on this council? I'm referring to what you stated when I asked you earlier about it. You mentioned that it was in process. You mentioned what Mayor just said, but you said that it wasn't really quite, you guys are still in the process. But you mentioned names, and you said that these people were appointed for a year, okay, as well, whatever they are. And I want to know who selected these people. Was there any Chester residents involved in this selection? And the people that you guys mentioned, if you can mention the names again, are they just simply residents, or are they city employees, or do they work in any entity? And how many city residents who are not connected with the city is a part of this committee? That's what I'm asking, because been waiting. I've been a part of some of these ARPA meetings. I think it's important that, factual and truthful information comes across to the residents of Chester City, especially with these ARPA funds.
They're all residents.
What's that?
All of them are residents.
Okay, so who approved or selected them? Who was the body? What was that committee called?
We have a team of individuals from the city, from the receivers team as well, who were on these interviews and meet weekly, and we were a part of this, the interviews, who selected or chose and recommended at one point the names to members of council. Again, it was only 4 people, and we chose to keep all 4 and just have one alternate. So
can you? I'm not trying to. It's important that the residents understand clearly what's happening with the people who are governing your city, and especially when you're told that we're supposed to be included in the process. And so my question is, because this is what sometimes is a breakdown. This is sometimes a mistrust of the residents of Chester City. Again.
Ms. Littleton, and I don't want folks to misinterpret what we're trying to say. We have always been transparent with this process. We're being transparent again with this process. And even the resolution itself explains what is exactly the resolution is going to do. These persons are Chester residents. We had a committee that selected the Chester residents. They have accepted this appointment. It was approved by council today, and now they have input on how these monies will be spent. They're going to make recommendations to us moving forward. Now, if we are to ever get this money spent, we have to move forward.
I'm hearing what you guys are saying very, very clear. Okay, I heard it very clear when I asked before. My question again is, who was this council that appointed these people, and were Chester residents involved? Are we not supposed to be involved? Is that not what was promised during the ARPA meetings? We can pull those tapes where the residents, that was the whole thing. And you guys read in the resolution today about the transparency and making sure that the residents of Chester City is fully involved. And so it doesn't look like that process included many of the residents. And so I'm going to move on, but this is just for the record. And again, that word creation, are you guys going to leave that in the minutes? Or are you guys going to put it that we have appointed, or we are approving a a committee that was already appointed and established, because creation, again, when you look at this, it's either a misprint or it's deceiving. So you can't create something and something's already established. So which one was it? And that should be corrected on the minutes, that it was not a creation. It was an approval of an appointment to a team that has already been selected by whoever this committee was. Unknown. I guess that information is not privy. But I just want to leave that right there, and I'll follow up afterward on that. But I do want to just move forward with some questions that I have.
Yes.
Okay, because that is very confusing. What's that?
I said yes because time is.
I know, but I'm hoping, you know, this is the second time I've been back in a council meeting. I'm so glad to be here under the circumstances where I couldn't before, you know. And with that being said, I would like to ask Mayor and Council, for a council and mayor that governs a city of 30,000 plus people, is it at all concerning to you guys as you look around this council room that there's really hardly nobody here? On the last city council meeting, there was 2 people, other staff. Is that concerning to mayor and council that 30,000 people in this city, and the council meetings that we have, basically there's really nobody here? Okay, and so I know the rule. I'm going to ask if I can ask all my questions today and get them an answer, because again, it was hard for me to get to these meetings because of a work schedule. And so there's not a lot of people here, so I'm hoping that we can, you know, be in that 3-minute rule to get these questions answered.
You start asking.
Okay, so that's one. One question, is it concerning to the mayor and council that has 30,000 plus people in this city, that there's only, look at the council meeting. These are the places where we come to learn about our city, to understand what's going on, to supposedly have input. Is it concerning to you guys? If so, why and why not? That's one question. The other question is, Mayor, you mentioned at the last council meeting, I think it was Mr. Brown, I believe is his name, he was talking to you about some of the young men and talking about jobs in the city. And you mentioned about an organization called Silver Care, and that they had lots of jobs for the city. That's what you said. And I'm assuming you meant like right available now. That's what I'm assuming. Is that correct? That's the question.
I'm not.
You're not sure? Okay, so.
No. It had nothing to do with your question.
Okay.
Silvercare is here. Silvercare, once fully operational, has committed to hiring between 300 and 400 persons. Our goal is to get as many Chester residents in those positions as possible. Okay, so with that being said, I did actually myself, because I know a few residents, young men who was in the classification of what Mr. Brown described, who were looking for jobs, and even myself, trying maybe this is an organization that I might want to work for. So I did go over to Silvercare to inquire about those jobs. First of all, the people I talked to was very limited in their English, or that's what they appeared to me for. They were very confused about these jobs that I was mentioning to them that you had said was available to the city of Chester residents. So they were unclear. They didn't know. And then when I mentioned that you said these jobs, they said, oh, yeah. They're on the website. And I asked them specifically about IT jobs, because that's the field that I am in. And so they told me to go to the website and I would see these jobs and somebody would call me back about these jobs. And so I went to the website and to find that there were actually no jobs listed there. And that they said the jobs will be listed upon availability. So can you explain to myself and the residents of Chester City, the 200 and 300 or 400 of us that should be have an opportunity to get these jobs, when? And I asked them too, when are they available? Like right now, but there's no jobs. They don't have any jobs available for the Chester residents. So when will these jobs be available? Is this just something that, you know, because we would love to apply for these jobs, but Silvercare, they're clueless to what you're talking about. And I'm assuming they should know about these jobs that the mayor is talking about for the residents of Chester City if they were in partnership with our city to create these jobs, and that was a promise of their existence here. And with that being said, and I'm going to end on this because it's a lot of things, but I can, but also with that being said, can you
can you guys just explain to myself and the residents of Chester City, when decisions are being made, partnerships in this city, is mayor and council, are you guys the sole ultimate decision makers at the end? I know there's probably other things that are involved in that process, but before somebody like Silvercare or Philadelphia Union, before they are able to come into the city, house themselves, and do whatever, is it the mayor and council that has to give that final approval? Is that in your hands to do that?
There are a number of, it's not just mayor and council.
Uh-huh.
There may be some county council involvement. There
Okay.
may be some state government officials involvement.
Mhm.
There may be even some governor's involvement, DCED involvement. So there's a collective effort of all these different entities that come together when it comes to helping to develop our community.
Okay, which I just said. So, but does mayor and council have the final decision making? Like after you have all these entities, whatever you guys sign off on is the yes or no for the city of Chester.
Yes.
So, like when things like the proposed LNG plant that wants to come through here, and things like Covanta and all the other things, it is our city government that gives the final okay, yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, and how do you guys base your decisions? Like, do you just on yourselves, or do you guys, get the community involved, or how is that process been? And I'm going to take my seat on this one. I'll reserve my other ones for the next meeting.
We've always gotten the community involved in any type of decision like that. It's a major decision here in the city of Chester, whether it's $55 million being proposed from the soccer stadium, or whether it's an LSG project that wants to come into our community. We've always, ever since I've been an elected official, engaged the community in that process.
Okay, so what do you guys do if the majority of the community or your percentage it disagrees with some of the decisions, things that we may not feel is okay or for our communities? What how do you make that decision? Are you guys
Fortunately, we haven't come across that.
haven't come across that yet?
Come across that.
Okay. All right. So will you be able to find out for us about these 200 and 300 jobs and maybe post it on the website how residents of Chester City can get these jobs?
Ms. Littleton, and we're going to end it on this. Silvercare has made that they want to hire between 300 and 400 Chester residents. Now, that could be from construction, from the ground up, to nursing positions, to janitorial positions, to security positions. I clearly said that when they're finished, when their operation is totally and completely up, it's going to be between 300 and 400 jobs. They're not totally operational. They're getting ready to put in a cafeteria and hire a chef. They're getting ready to do those things.
So you didn't clearly say that, but are you now clearly saying you guys? Excuse me, sir. You're talking about transparency. This doesn't sound like transparency. You mentioned across these chambers. Is there a solicitor? Is there anything that the residents have any protection with what comes across this council with factual information? Is there any laws, rules, or regulations on that? Because when the mayor clearly says that there's jobs available, okay, and we go look for these jobs and they're not there, what do we do as residents? Do we continue to buy this, or do we ask the council to be transparent?
Ms. Littleton.
This is public comment.
Okay.
Quite frankly, you've been granted great latitude.
Okay. Well, which should be, because most people are. Now they'll probably.
Public comment speaks for itself.
Okay, so Mayor Kogan, can you answer this? Are these jobs available now? If not, when will they be available?
Thank you, Ms. Littleton.
Can you answer when the jobs will be available? We need to follow up.
Ms. Littleton, I'm sure you went.
So you don't want to answer?
Thank you, Ms. Littleton.
Okay, so for the record, you don't want to answer when these jobs will be available?
Thank you, Ms. Littleton.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Irving.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right. So I was made aware recently that the city was trying to do more business acquisition, trying to get more businesses into the city. And I know one of the hurdles that the city has come with is, sometimes crime or what have you may be a deterrent for a lot of businesses with brick and mortars to come here. So I wanted to suggest having online businesses come here instead. With the acquisition of online businesses, that allows for businesses not to have to worry about people actually coming into the city. For example, like restaurants, you have to have someone come into the building, as opposed to an online business where business is completely, you can do it from your computer itself. For example, I have an online business. It's a marketing business, and I work from home. Never have to leave my home, and I do just well. But I didn't know that, one of the things that the city needed was, hey, register with, the city and everything else. There might be opportunities here for whatever those opportunities are. So I just wanted to put that out there, along with, since COVID, there has been a new shift where people no longer have to be inside of the building anymore. There's now options for people to, instead of going into work, they now have the option to work remote. So just a whole nother spectrum of people to be able to, residents, as far as getting jobs, and say, hey, we have remote opportunities now where you can stay from home for people who can't drive or whatever their situation might be, and they can work from home for companies that can be in other states, and ultimately that's tax money that can go into the city as well, outside of just the business acquisition itself. And if the city needed some help, I'm a digital marketing strategist. I work with quite a number of businesses now, another, a bunch of marketing agencies as well. So happy to help out with that. I think I kind of just helped with some of the things that you might have been talking about earlier, as far as like jobs and opportunities and things like that. And I hope that the suggestion for bringing in online businesses can be implemented, because, like I said, it completely bypasses the whole, you had to have a brick and mortar in the city in order to, come to the city and register with the city and so on and so forth. But yeah, that's my take on it. And if you guys have any questions, I'm here for any helpful suggestions. Okay.
Mr. Irvin, you have any card? Do you have cards with you, or
I don't. I just came in to give some helpful suggestions.
Okay. All right. We would definitely entertain some more.
Okay.
Hearing more about what it is that you do and how it can be helpful to our community. Do love to see people walking the streets and shopping and everything, but any way we can help generate, create jobs and generate revenue here in the city.
Happy to help.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you so very much.
How can
Councilman.
can
Mr. Irvin?
you give us?
Mr. Irvin?
Can you leave us your contact information or website or whatnot? You have something? Okay. She'll take it.
Ms. Smith? Ms. Smith?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to make a statement that I heard about the attendance at council meeting. I've been to several municipalities, even the county council on a regular, and you get just about as many people as you have here. So I feel as if people want to know about anything, they can call their local officials and get all the information.
Come on, Ms. Littleton.
that they
Ms. Littleton,
have.
please. She didn't. Ms. Littleton, I'm asking you.
No, I wasn't asked. I was making a statement based on where I've gone. I've gone to many local municipalities. This is what we do as our sorority. And population-wise, even county council having a large number, this is what I see. So if people have, like I just said, if people have questions, they can contact their local government.
Ms. Littleton,
for anything
please,
that they want.
if you're going to continue to be disrespectful and speak over persons while they have the mic, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Ms. Littleton, Ms. Littleton. You are.
Ms. Littleton, it's my turn. Can't you do it when you get your chance again? You know, I didn't, it's my turn. Y'all, thank you. Just speaking on that, all right, let's move on. I just wanted to make that statement based on Livia Smith's observations. Now, the expenditure list, I see that there was one no for the approval of that, and that was Councilman Roots. Mr. Mayor, can I ask why?
That's a question that you have to ask the council.
I can ask Mr. Roots. That's why I was asking you first. Councilman Roots, can I ask why there was a no for the expenditure list?
Didn't have time to review it.
Okay. So, I mean, this has been another time that you have stated no, that you didn't have time to review it. Now, I just want to say, based on my observation, once again, I believe if everybody else had a chance to review it in a particular manner, I think you have to be here to review it in order to get the information. That's just based on my observation, because I've come many a times and I have not seen you in the House. And as an elected official who was getting paid by...
Let me stop you right there. It
dollars,
just showed up this morning. None of us had time to review it.
so you just... So nobody, but everybody...
We all received it this morning. None of us had time to review it. They approved it based on whatever criteria they use. My criteria is I need more time to review it.
Okay, so...
Ms. Smith, I'm gonna be respectful of your time, but I'll answer to that question once you're done.
Okay. So no, that was all I was just asking, because I know that in any meetings of any time that everybody should receive their pack at least a week, 3 days ahead of time, so they can review and underscore and look at the situations. And I was under the assumption that that is what took place. But you're saying it didn't happen this time, but other times I don't believe that has happened. But I am finished with that statement. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so, and I was going to wait until after to make a comment on this. But just so you all know, in the expenditure list, many of the things that the mayor and council and the finance department have to pay and approve off on are expenses to keep up the quality of life of living here in the city of Chester, things that are vital and necessary needs of all departments here. So just to give you an idea of some of the things that are in the expenditure list here, there's $145,000. That is a grant for the Rainy Street Improvement Project. We pay Signal Service, who repairs our street signal repairs on our right of way, hopefully making sure there is any accidents or trying to limit that, and helping our Public Works Department. We have new Delaware County Daily Times for news publications, so that we can make sure that the public is fully aware of different meetings that we have to publicly advertise. There are many other things in here. PICO for utility bills that we have to pay. Home Depot for supplies for our Public Works and Highways Department. Tech Guys, which is our IT consultant and who provides the all of the IT information that we have for our newspapers, our website, our television. That's just a few of the many things that are within this expenditure list. I'm not sure where Councilman was looking or not looking on Monday, but my packet had the expenditure list in there. So correct me if I'm wrong. You said, Councilman, your expenditure list wasn't in your packet on Monday?
No. And I will also say...
I just want to make sure, Councilman, your expenditure list was not in your packet on Monday?
I did not see it. I'm sorry if it was there.
No, it was there, because it was sent last Wednesday, just to let you know.
So
via email. So, Ms. Smith, you're right. You are somewhat right. Necessarily don't have to be physically here, but every council person, every individual here has an email address. The council packet was sent out last Monday, and the expenditure list did include that via the email, and also the physical packets that we had on Monday here at Deliberative, when we all are here to deliberate and discuss on any observations or objections that we may have. Nothing was brought up. But again, Monday, the packet of the expenditure list that I have in front of us, which did not change since Monday or last week, most certainly was in that packet on Monday and was sent via email last week as well.
I will recheck the email if it were there.
I'll make sure I forward it to you.
I will talk now. I will recheck the email. If it was there, I will stand corrected. Additionally, why I do not approve the expenditure reports is because if we took the time in a deliberative meeting to go through each and every line item to find out what the status is, who we're paying, was it already paid, are the checks outstanding, are these checks to be paid, we would be spending hours. In the past, I have asked for information on particular line items and never received it back. More importantly, if anyone read the order that just came back from Commonwealth Court, it did give some detail as to our expenditure report. And I am consistent and have been consistent well before going to court that all I would need to approve 3 and 4 and 5 pages of single line expenditures that I see that range from maybe $50 to $50,000 to $250,000 is someone in authority from the finance department, from the controller's department, that would just lay a letter on top to say, these have all been checked, these have all been verified, these are all been approved based on the authority that we have within the finance department. To be putting that burden on mayor and council to be assured that every line item on there is correct and accurate is a lot. I have approved these in the past, and if anyone goes back and roll the tapes from probably February 2022, I said on this mic that I will approve these based on my assumption that the finance department is correct in every line item here. I know that I have approved some of these not having, I won't say not having the opportunity, but surely not having the time to go through 50, 100, 150 items and have approved things that have turned out to be not appropriate. So for that reason, until such time that I can get a letter of approval, a signature from somebody in finance or the controller's office that says they've reviewed these things and everything is accurate, I will approve these. That's it.
If I may, Ms. Smith, one of the things that we have to do, that we've been instructed to do, is that whenever we provide resolutions and or an expenditure list, that it has to go through the receiver's office. The receiver sees something that he does not approve of or does not support, he will come, he will call and ask us to take it off of the agenda. We have not received anything from the receiver's office pertaining to this list. We've never received anything from him saying that he disapproves of this list and he would like us to remove it from the agenda until further investigated. So we have been working with the receiver's office, his financial people as well. Thank you.
Okay, so for myself to be clear on what everyone just stated,
Could she go, please? Could she go, please? Could she go, please?
Okay, now that I have a clarity on the process that has taken place, that's all I was just inquiring about, because, I believe that everybody has their department to look at things and to get verification about what it has to be. And I thank you for clearing up the chain of processes that took place. And when it gets to council and the council approves, that was just my only question. Why was there disapproval? And it's been stated, and I thank you for that.
And again, I will reiterate that if it was in my packet yesterday, if it was in the email, I will stand corrected. Otherwise, I will make a statement to confirm whether it was there or not.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
I was going to present this at the last council meeting, but with the fire department doing their swearing-ins, I wanted to make sure I didn't want to intervene, but I do have our 2022 stats report for the City of Chester Police Department.
Thank you.
I know on some half a few weeks ago you presented this state and city. So calls for service 37,290. Part 1 crimes reported, 1,302. Adult arrest, 1,668. Juvenile arrest, 42. Total firearms recovered, 271. My detective division issued 60 arrest warrants and 186 search warrants. Narcotics division arrested 65 felony arrest individuals with 31 residential search warrants. I'll break down the weights for you for the narcotics recovered. Marijuana, 18.5 pounds. Estimated street value, $37,000. Crack cocaine, 5 kilograms at 318 grams. Gives you 10,318 grams. Estimated street value, $515,000. Methamphetamines, 161 grams. Fentanyl, 102 grams. 3,366 individual servings. Estimated street value, $33,660. Cash seized, $23,500. They also seized 12 vehicles, estimated value of $100,000, and seized 1 house. Finally, there were 5 Title III wiretap affidavits that were granted by the Superior Court of Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry, was this 2022 stats?
That's correct. And I'll send all that information to email so you can have everything broken down. And last but not least, and this is for the community and everyone listen, currently right now we are accepting applications for a police officer for the City of Chester Police Department. Everything's posted. Please come out and take the test because we do more with less, and I'm really trying to get to a fully staffed police department. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
We put it in the notes for one. We'll give you the end of the year. I wasn't prompted. But for the fire department, for 2022, 2,728 responses in the city. Of those, 73 building fires, 58 vehicle fires, 372 vehicle accidents with injuries. That includes pedestrian struck. 337 assists to the EMS, and 1,100 fire alarm activations. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Where you signing that? My name is Brown. Well, you can put it up there while you're looking at it. I come here today to ask y'all when y'all coming down by my house. They clean up that trash in the back by the railroad track. When y'all gonna put some people to work on with the city like you used to have with the city, Kirkman, Mr. Kirkman?
When we have the funds to rehire our folks, we will do
And y'all got some guy, Jeff from Harrisburg. I don't know him because I don't come over here that regular.
We have a person from York who was our receiver. Yeah.
From Europe?
York, Pennsylvania.
I know where you're from, but I've been up there the weekend. And so I've been in Stilton, I've been all up through there the weekend. Been all the way up to Penn State. So I want to know when they plan on putting somebody back to work, some of them fellows back to work, where they can clean up the city. Because of the disgrace, you come by here where Berman used to be on 22nd Street. It's a shame coming into the city. All them mattress laying there, piles of wood laying there. Well, what y'all bring a man from Harrisburg for? If he's not going to do nothing but sit. Anywhere you go today, if you want money, you got to work for it. There's no free ride and no free train. You got to show something. Because this man should be out there all night long searching and see what has to be done. When I was a general foreman on the job, I stay on the job every day 2 hours. Walk around and see what I got to do the next morning. I jot it down. But I can take it in the office to different superintendents in the department and tell them what they have to clean up. It's a shame that we're Chester falling. Y'all supposed to have people from Harrisburg here. They're supposed to be doing a better job than they do. You go up to Harrisburg, unless you come down there around Stilton, it's nasty down there because 95% of them black down in there. But you go up there around Harrisburg up there, off of 43,
It's clean up there. You can eat off the ground. I was up there Friday. I've been in the hospital right there in that circuit. It's still boy. He from his ass.
Ms. Brown, you can in my neighborhood. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. You probably eat off the ground. You know why?
Because you clean up something.
Sir.
Like
Yes, sir.
me.
And the area that you're talking about, people live in those areas.
Yeah.
And all they got to do is simply walk out the front door
And throw it on the trash pile.
or sweep it up.
Yeah, but they don't.
And so it has to be a different mindset, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
We have to encourage people to take better care of their very own properties. And
You know,
their own-
you know what would be a good idea?
What's that?
Put dumpster, different place in the city. For people that dump trash, it better dump it in them dumpsters and they dump it on the ground.
Mr. Brown.
I know it's gonna cost you.
No, I'm saying, but Mr. Brown, how many times did we put trash? How many times?
Well, y'all have it. Y'all used to have it twice a year, 3 times a year.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know they get used to that. Cause we got to get something done around here. Now back down by my house, I done been there 3 times, and then bring the front end loader down there yet and clean up. On the corner, 2630. Me and that boy had it yesterday. All that trash out in the backyard. Mice coming from under that trash, coming into people's house. That don't make sense. Not in a city. So, and next thing, do you can get on the police department and stuff with a background criminal record? Like you've been in jail or something. Can you go on to the police department?
Commish.
To answer your questions, you go on to MOPAC, which is your certification for police officers. It'll tell you what you can and what you can't do. There's also a thing on the expungement. Solicitor, if you want to go a little more detail into it.
Yes. Typically, someone with a criminal background would not be hired as a police officer. However, one past indiscretion might not preclude you from being a police officer if you filed a petition for expungement and had that removed from your record.
You still can't be no police.
If it's expunged, you can,
Yeah.
depending upon the nature of the crime. There are certain minor crimes which are not considered.
Yeah, because I know a lot of fellas, they got criminal background record. Hell, they can hardly get a job. I take 5 guys last week over here by Mullen Hill. They hiring over there. They're targeting in a different place, but them fellas got background record. The man said they don't need to fill out the application.
Mr. Brown, if they do have a record, we have a gentleman here. His name is Mr. Eric Bain. He has been very successful. And I can say this, hundreds of both young men and women who've had past history dealing with the law. He's been able to work with them and get their records expunged. So if you going to direct them over here to Mr. Bain, he's our workforce development director.
Yeah.
He will take them under his wing.
Yeah.
And if they follow his instructions and go through the process, he's been very successful in helping them.
Because we need to get some of these young fellas to work. When the next meeting y'all gonna have at night?
I don't know.
Kenny, you should know.
Well, I have to.
I know you. Those are the thing I don't know
have to
you.
look it up. I think we have a few during the winter and a few during the summer.
But it looked like to me, every month you should have at least one council meeting at night. Once a month. Ever since I was coming over here, ever since 1990. Back then when Jack them used to be here, you used to have one council meeting at night.
You mean the Jack that went to jail?
I know when he went to jail in 1990. But then used to have one meeting when Butler was over here, used to have one a night. Once a month. Not every. Two they have regular time, and they used to have one a month. Because 75% of your people can't come to a council meeting. Because they're working. You just got to take off to come to a council meeting now.
Wait a minute.
But you got to eat. You got to eat.
I'm a little confused.
You know, you just come back here. You've been in Harrisburg for 25 years.
You just said 70. You just said that not enough of our young people have jobs, and now you just said that 75% of the persons are working at night, so they can't make it to council meeting.
But one was working.
Let me say something to you, Mr. Brown. You know.
The one was working now. They can't come to council meeting.
Let me tell you something. If it's important,
But Liz know that.
if it's important, if education is important, then we need to make a way to get to school board meetings. If our community is important, then we need to make a way to not only come to council meetings, and it's one thing to complain, and I understand that, have a right to do that, but it's also a good thing to come with an idea.
Idea, that's what I'm talking about. And you got a lot of will come with a good idea.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Like right now.
I'd like to make a comment.
I'd
I'd like to make a comment on that.
Start right now. We need a movers in this city.
We understand. One of the points I want to make is that I've been here over a year. I've been to every council meeting except for one. Most of them are during the day. For the 4 to 5 that I've been here in the evening meetings, there have not been more people here in the evening than there have been during the day. I would love to support the fact of your statement that if we had more night meetings, more people would come. For the 5 or maybe 6 meetings that I've been here at night, there really hasn't been a group of people that have increased the number of people that are here during the day.
Put it in the newspaper and people will be here.
It is advertised.
It don't advertise nothing no more in the paper. I ain't seen nothing. I get the paper every day. I had to come by here just now and I see all them cars out there. That's because I come in every day.
We have to advertise it.
Well, I ain't seen it. You might advertise
Delaware
online or
County
something.
Daily Times, sir.
Huh?
Delaware County Daily Times.
Well, I get that every day. I ain't seen anything.
It's not advertised every day, but it's advertised.
Damn sure ain't advertised on my people.
And it's on our website too, Mr. Brown.
Well, everybody don't look at the website.
That's true. I'm just giving you another alternative.
Yeah.
We're trying to tell you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah.
It is. We would be breaking the law if we didn't advertise it.
Yeah, a lot of. Well, I'll tell you one thing you ain't advertised. I've been over here last month. They used to put it in the paper. When you come over there, you put your name down there and who speak and who didn't talk, and tell you what they talk about. Years ago, it used to be in the paper. Because I tell them one time, I got that paper to the house now, in my garage. When I tell them he ain't worth coming to the council meeting.
That means that the reporter was
used
right.
to write it up.
Yeah, well, that's the.
But where they at? They ain't in here. A little girl used to come here all the time.
Mr. Brown.
You know it.
It's almost lunchtime.
Y'all have a nice day. May God bless y'all real good. Since you want to eat.
You too, Mr. Brown.
Send somebody down by my house to clean up that trash, please.
Now, it's not your trash, right? It's somebody else's trash.
There's a little bit of everybody's trash.
Oh, I'm just checking. That's why I asked.
I put up on the internet this week, somebody dumped with a red truck in a rain.
Yep, and we got them on camera, and we're trying to find out. Well, we're hoping that you might be able to know who they are and let us know. Give them tapes. Oh. Wait a minute. Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Hey, y'all have a blessed day.
You too.
And y'all got to take that man from Harrisburg doing something.
We got you, Mr.
Most
Brown.
side eating lunch and a hamburger at McDonald's.
We got you,
What the hell
Mr.
you get
Brown.
paid from the taxpayer? We ain't got no money to throw in. Just look like that one stone drainage coming off your house. I want y'all to put a shadow over my house where the Lord don't touch it. And the rain don't fall on it.
Where the Lord don't touch it.
Yeah, and the rain don't fall on it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
Because I don't want to follow mine if I got to pay for it. I'm paying Delco every 3 months now, every 2 months. $100. It don't make sense.
Thank
Pay
you.
them twice a year. You know it.
Yep, because I'm paying them too. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Councilwoman Williams, you have any comments?
Mayor, I would like to tell my community, my residents, on how to save on their electric bill. This is by Pico. Pull the plugs. Everything but your refrigerator, and wash your clothes in the evening. So before you leave out in the morning, pull them plugs. And I know it works because I have a nice electric bill. It works.
Councilman Roots.
I just want to make a comment. I've been going around meeting the platoons, the fire platoons, and I must say it's been enlightening talking to the firefighters. We just brought in a new class of 10, the rookies now. They're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, but just directly sitting down with the fire department, platoon by platoon, sitting for an hour, hour and a half, listening to their concerns, listening to the type of work that they do, sharing stories has really been a joy. They all have different perspectives on their jobs, on their futures, on the retirees situation, and I can only say that it's just great for now being Director of Public Safety to get to know those guys. They're really the salt of the earth. I just wanted to shout them out. I'm really enjoying my time with the fire department.
Yes. So to answer your question, Mr. Brown, March 8th is the next night meeting. March 8th. All right. So I expect to see you here. All right. Good enough. I'll blame the Lord's willing. I'm with you. I agree. I'm with you on that. If the Lord's willing. Commissioner Gretzky, what's the deadline for to receive applications to be a police officer?
It actually started February 6th through February 27th.
Okay. February 6th to February.
Yep, everything's been posted. We post this ahead of time, and also we put the PT, physical agility results. But if you want to, if you go to Delaware County Community College, actually you could look on the Police Academy. We use the same standards from Delaware County Police Academy.
Okay. And my last thing is on. I posted on my social media. I think the city has also posted on their Facebook as well. The Chester Business Association, we're having a tax seminar for micro and small business owners. A few things that we're going to discuss at the seminar. This will be via Zoom, so you can stay at your house on your couch and tune in to the meeting. But we're going to be talking about the deadlines to filing your taxes for the businesses, different tax deductions for LLCs, S corps, the tax rates, talking about some profit and loss statements and reporting as well. So again, that's a tax seminar for micro and small business owners from the Chester Business Association. This is going to be on February 11th, so that's this Saturday, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. We have some local, well, it's Chester Business Association, but some local business owners are going to be spearheading this meeting. I think I know Miss Antoinette Trueheart's a part of it. Roland Teller with Taco Duo Tacos is also a part of it as well. So again, that's February 11th, 2023, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. It's on our Facebook here in the city of Chester. I know I posted it on mine as well. So you don't have to pay anything or register. You just have to get the Zoom meeting information and passcode to join the discussion. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. And real quickly, first, I want to say thank you to our law enforcement personnel. Unfortunately, the young man, two young persons, lost their lives here in the city at the end of the year. However, the one young man who was killed by another, that individual is on the run. The marshals know exactly who he is, and that's because of good police work. That's because of excellent police work. And now there's a young person who has committed a heinous crime, and now he's running. And then their prayers go out to Pastor Jay Harrison and his wife and family for their young son. I say this to everybody because when we were younger, I didn't have to worry about my friends setting me up to be harmed. We live in a different world with some different young people, and if I had to worry about anything, they played a prank on me, and that was it. This young boy lost his life at the hands of so-called friends. But because, once again, good police work, good detective work, those two individuals who caused the demise of that young man are now incarcerated. And sad part about it being is that they're young people and they will probably never see the day of light. And that's sad. That's unfortunate that folks would choose that route. And I just wanted to commend our law enforcement personnel for all the good, hard work that they do. And I want to encourage folks, don't, big brother's watching you, don't, do something different. Shake a hand, go play basketball, go swimming, go have a meal. But don't do those things that'll cause you to sit in jail or in a grave. Don't do them. The other thing is, when I mention about businesses that come here, for example, or businesses that expand, for example, soccer stadium, $55 million, somebody's got to get paid. If you have a skill set, talk about that. If you have a skill set, they got to spend $55 million. Whether that skill set is being able to operate online, operate from home, or whether it's an electrician, a plumber, a laborer, a janitor, a security person, all those things are needed when it comes to working. Communications director, they got $55 million and they're saying, okay, here's an opportunity. That's another few hundred jobs. When I talk about the jobs being down at Silvercare, you have to look at the whole page, look at the whole thing. You start off with laborers, they start off with electricians, they start off with plumbers. The facility has to be renovated, it has to be built. And then when there's another phase that comes in. Now we need nurses, now we need security, now we need people to man the front desk, now we need people to answer the phones. Then there's another phase because now we're going to open up a restaurant. So now we're going to need servers, now we're going to need chefs, now we're going to need dishwashers. It goes out in phases. And I know folks know what I'm talking about. I just don't play the political games when it comes down to this. This is an opportunity for folks to jump on some stuff and get it done. I know when folk come in here and they see, and I'll be blunt, and they see 9 or 10 persons lined up here getting ready to become law enforcement personnel or firefighters. And they say, well, where's the black guys? Where are the black women? You have to apply. We don't see color. We see applications. And then we see training. And we see you going through that training successfully and completing that training and then working that job. So, tell them young folks, we want them to work. We desperately want, because guess what? When they work, especially if it's a real grind, when they work and they work hard, they go home, they get a meal, and they go to sleep and get ready to go back to work the next day. And then when they receive that check, they know that they've accomplished something. And they want to do it over and over and over again. We will always promote Chester, always encourage our young people, and even our seniors. The opportunities are here. They better come get them. Well, Mr. Brown, everything's a test. Everything's a test. You can't lay a brick. You can't lay a brick unless you take the test. You can't do it, be an electrician unless you take the test. Well, we will. We'll work on it. We gotta help them. We gotta help them. We're gonna talk after this. I tell you what, we'll talk. We'll talk. This meeting is over. It's now adjourned. Mr. Brown, we don't buy.